Hey guys, Shieldy says, and today we're gonna be doing a cider review and we're gonna talk a little bit more about ciders and what they're all about. Let's get into it now. Hey guys, welcome back to Shieldy Says. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please go ahead, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that notification bell. If you like what we're doing, tell your friends about us. I think you're really gonna like some of the reviews that we're bringing in. Today we're talking about cider and hard cider. I've been getting some requests from friends that I need to do a review and talk about cider. And I wanted just to take a minute, let's actually talk about what cider is, because it's not actually a beer and it's not quite wine, so it's kind of its own beast, but it's a great option for folks, especially for you people out there with gluten allergies or other types of food problems. The great part about cider compared to beer is there's no malt, no hops, so that means no grain in the fermenting process, just fruit. So most of these are gluten-free and say so on the label, which is great for people with any sort of dietary restrictions. So let's get into it here. Obviously, cider's been around since about 55 BC with the Romans fermenting apples, and then obviously up until today, even Revolutionary War time, it was actually a traded commodity, apples and ciders, and John Adams was known to actually drink a cider every morning to help settle his stomach. So they've been around for a long time, and now we're just really getting into some of the craft cider. It's not your just other drink that you saw maybe 5 or 10 years ago, that sort of malt sweet drink that's maybe not that made very well and kind of is like, oh yeah, I'm getting drunk, awesome. This is not that. Your hard ciders today are bringing it to a whole new level. The great part is you also have ciders made from things besides apples. Ciders come in a variety of flavors. I know that sounds weird, but you have any kind of fruit you can make into a cider. I've even got one here from Austin Ciders made out of watermelon. So really a cider is not contained just to apples. I mean, I've had it with pears, raspberries, some blueberries, which wasn't the best I ever had, but it was also, maybe just not for my palate. And also when we're talking about cider, we'll talk about how do I choose a cider? So what it comes down to is sugar and the types of apples and region those apples are coming from. You're gonna find if you see any ciders that are European based, there's gonna be much drier, as the apples that they're producing tend to be a little bit less sugary and less sweet, whereas your American apples that most people are getting are gonna be sweeter to the palate because those apples are made for the American consumer, which prefer a sweeter apple. Cider, beyond just the type of fruit that we already discussed that will affect it. So you can start off, you have it labeled as a dry cider. So this is gonna be a very low residual sugar, so maybe a 0.5% residual sugar. So this will be the closest to the palate of what a beer drinker might be used to as far as your flavor profile. Then stepping up right there is an off dry cider, which is 1 to 2% residual sugars, a little bit sweeter, but not too sweet. Obviously, it's kind of in that middle ground, and we'll take a look at some of those as we start to do some more cider reviews. And then you have your semi-dry or semi-sweet ciders, which could have as much as 4% residual sugar. Most of these are too sweet for me personally because I don't like that much sweetness. But if you're a Moscato drinker, more of a sweet wine drinker, you would enjoy obviously a semi-dry to a semi-sweet cider. And usually people are in this flavor range are not beer drinkers anyway. They want something else to enjoy that's cool and crisp for them to enjoy. Next, let's get into the glasses. There are so many glasses for cider. So the first one that comes up is this one, which is called a Libby glass. Obviously it's kind of ribbed at the bottom, kind of weird, but it's basically, and then has a bowl on the top to kind of capture all those flavors. It's kind of an off-take of an Angry Orchard. Almost looks something similar to what Sam Adams did with their custom glass. You don't have to use one of these glasses. You can also use what we've already looked at with our fruit beers, which is a snifter, or maybe you could also get a tulip. I've also found that many people like, you know, maybe a Bordeaux glass. I've actually had at one cidery where they were presented in a Bordeaux style glass, which is a little bit more narrow, but it's not necessarily a champagne flute. Or who cares if you just want to throw it in a regular old pint, do that. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna tell you what I think is maybe the best way to drink a cider, and that is with a Pinot glass. I know, right? Craziness. Why do I think a Pinot glass is the best? Well, you look at the shape of it, what we're trying to do is to release all that fruit flavors and that aroma and those notes and capture that and then bring it right into your nose, because part of what you're drinking with is also that scent that you're getting from that. So this will allow you, you know, to open it up just like a good red wine. I love a good Pinot, so I have plenty of these glasses. That's another reason why I like it, just because I have them. And a nice part is too, you can hold it here by the stem, which keeps your body heat from warming up your cider, because nobody likes a warm cider. Actually, if you got a cider and you pull it right off the shelf and you drink it, you're wrong. I'm sorry, I'm taking a firm stance on this one. Don't do it. Put it in the fridge, let it cool down. Obviously, we want to get it around 40 degrees, just above, you know, that freezing point, because you don't want to get it too cold, because then it'll actually deaden out some of those great flavor profiles that you're going to get from a cider. So today, we're going to be looking at JKs Scrumpy Hard Cider Farmhouse Organic. Now, I was led onto this from a tip that this was a pretty great cider. It's 100% organic, which is pretty great. And the farm in Michigan has been there since 1860. So they've been around a while, which is pretty great. So we'll test that out here. Here's a pretty look at that big old bottle before I start to open it and pour it. Without further ado, let's get into it. You've already seen my bottle opener once before. I'll put the link below. I think this is pretty slick. Ooh. Magnet in the bottom, catches it there. So let's pour away. Let's take a look at what this looks like, huh? Well, that's a beautiful pour. Nice, rich color. And I'm only gonna go about halfway. Very much a wine glass pour. Obviously, if you just wanna chug it, you do what you wanna do. It's your cider, man. I mean, do whatever you wanna do with it. But obviously, I can't do this left-handed for some reason. I kinda need my right. There we go. Let's get out of my face. So as you can see, you know, just like a nice wine, opening up all that wonderful appley goodness. I mean, and that's what you're looking for, is that really crisp, clean aroma right there. Not too sweet, which is nice, but let's see how it is. Yeah, this is pretty nice for me. This is gonna be a little bit more dry. So I would characterize this as a bit of an off dry. You've still got some of that residual sugar, but not too much, but it's not so dry that it's really hitting you in the back, maybe like you feel in an IPA or something like that, or maybe even a dry Riesling, or you know, one of those other drier wines. You know, but that's very nice. Not let me try that again. It's not overpowering in its flavor profile, which makes it something I could actually, you know, just kind of enjoy all day. Again, I always kind of go back to pork is a great pairing with an apple cider for that flavor. Obviously, as we come into more of the fall, butternut squash is a great idea to pair with a nice dry cider. And then you can, you know, play around with some salads. You actually can have some really amazing combinations, especially with dressings, or even use part of the cider as a base, or, you know, as an accent in your dressing for your salad, which pairs very nice. I find even some little bits of cranberry, or even some walnuts. If you don't like walnuts, that's fine. Just that saltiness to go against the sweetness. Or if you really want to, just make it a dessert. You know, make this your dessert if you're sitting around just to enjoy a nice cider. So I hope you've enjoyed kind of my basic tutorial and obviously my review, and I'm gonna look at it one more time so I get it right. JKs Scrumpy Hard Cider, Farmhouse Organic, Orchard Gate Gold. That's a mouthful, but the cider's a mouthful and it's quite tasty, so check it out. I'll put the link down below. And like I said, if you did enjoy this video, you got something out of it, please hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell on the bottom, and look forward to seeing you next time on Shieldsy Says. Hey guys, I want to take a minute in the video and talk about something near and dear to my heart, which is End the 22. Every day, 22 veterans end their lives by suicide, and this is a tragedy. We have to keep talking about it, keep helping each other, getting the word out until we end this cycle of senseless loss of life. If you are a veteran, there's so many resources. Here's a 1-800 number you can call 24/7. There's veteran groups online on Facebook. Join your local VFW. Get involved with other veterans and veterans groups. If you're a civilian and you know a veteran, check in with them from time to time. Ask them how they're really doing, more than just hey and more than a thank you for your service. Really see how they're doing, check in with them. If we all know that we've got someone to talk to, we've got somewhere for our problems to go, we know that we can find a solution. We didn't leave anybody behind on the battlefield, and we're not going to leave anybody behind now that we're here. We're to help each other out, brothers and sisters and veterans, civilians, whatever you are. Let's help to end the 22 today.